Hello, I'm Dr. Cécile Cospuluela. Welcome to this ESL video on English grammar. We've been working on theoretical aspects of the passive voice, and we are now going to work on some practical applications. Basically, we're going to be translating sentences. So, again, remember that you need to be very active. Translate the sentences before you listen to the translation that is presented in this video. Je n'aime pas qu'on me raconte des histoires. Je n'aime pas qu'on me mente. Remember, pause the video if ever I'm going too fast, but do take the time to translate the sentences because that's the only way for you to learn. You need to be active, okay? So the translation here would be, well, actually, maybe before translating, maybe I could, yes, I could ask you what we need to pay really attention to really pay attention to. Yes, on is what we're going to be focusing on. And again, you know, R1, O2, I3. I see a word and I wonder what it means. So I see a word, whoops, and I wonder what it means, what it refers to. That's the only way I can then express its meaning with the means of a different language, of the English language in this case. So what does on mean? Well, we don't really know. So the subject here is not identified in a very precise way at all. And in this case, I need to remember that the translation for on is going to be with the passive voice, the formula of which is be plus v, whoops, en, okay? Which is why the translation here is going to be, I don't like being told lies. Being told lies, so we can see here be plus ven, which is the passive voice, okay? Il a été trouvé une boucle d'oreille en or. So in this case, just like we highlighted on in the previous sentence, what are we going to notice in this sentence here? Well, we should pay attention to il and see that this is an impersonal pronoun. It does not refer to a person, okay? So who found the gold earring? Well, we do not know. So in this case, again, since there is no obvious subject, what we want to do is translate using the passive voice, V plus VEN. And the subject of the passive voice is going to be the object of this active voice. Therefore, the translation will be a gold earring has been found. Ça se dit, mais ça ne se fait pas. So what should we highlight here? Ça se dit, actually ça se dit, rather, mais ça ne se fait pas. So we have pronominal verbs here with the pronoun se. And again, who says it? Who does it or doesn't do it? Well, we do not know. So that's again the kind of cases in which we need to use the passive voice in English. It is said, but it is not done. On s'attend à ce qu'elle passe, à ce qu'elle téléphone d'un instant à l'autre. Again, here, in this sentence, we can see on, and we analyze it. What does it refer to? Well, again, the reference is really vague, so we know that we're going to translate it using the passive voice. Then I make sure I choose the right vocabulary. s'attendre à ce que quelqu'un fasse quelque chose. That's the verb expect somebody to do something. So again, since we're going to translate on with the passive voice, what's going to be the subject of this passive voice sentence? Well, that's going to be the object of the active voice here. So let's start the sentence with she and then the verb expect. So that will be she is expected to call, which can mean either to come or to phone anytime. Je suis censé passer, je suis censé téléphoner. I'm supposed to call. Again, the passive voice here is used. So be plus VEN. I'm supposed to do that. Il paraît qu'elle est enceinte. On dit qu'elle est enceinte. Elle serait enceinte. All these sentences have more or less the same meaning. So the first thing maybe we could say is that elle serait enceinte cannot be translated by she would be pregnant unless this sentence here means that we're talking about the consequence of something, which is not the case here. So the translation with would is excluded. And then il paraît que, that's an impersonal pronoun. On dit que, again, we don't really know who says that. Therefore, we know that we're going to use the passive voice. And the subject of the passive voice is going to be the object here. So she is said, she's reported if it's in the papers to be pregnant. And make sure you pronounce said correctly, so write down the phonetic transcription to remember that there is no diphthong in said. Just like in says, and as opposed to V0, say, which has a diphthong. Okay, let's go on to the next translation. On dit qu'elle est riche, on sait qu'elle est riche, on devine qu'elle est riche, on suppose qu'elle est riche. So we could change the verbs here, you know. And again, let's highlight the fact that there's on in this sentence. What does it refer to? Something vague that is not really identified. Therefore, it's going to be translated by the passive voice. Very good. And the passive voice sentence is going to start with elle as a subject. So let's take again the object of the active voice sentence to turn it into the subject of the passive voice sentence, which will be she is said to be rich, she's known to be rich, she's guessed, supposed to be rich, and so on and so forth. So we can change the verbs here, and there's even a verb rumor in English. So we can say she's rumored to be rich with a U in British English and not in American English. On s'attend à ce qu'elle soit riche. It's becoming easier and easier to see on here, and then you remember s'attendre à ce que quelqu'un fasse quelque chose ou soit quelque chose. Expect somebody to do or be something, and then the passive voice and the subject of the passive voice is going to be elle. Okay, yeah, let's translate. She is expected to be rich. Okay, so anytime there's a translation with on, we and on refers to we don't really know who. It's really vague, not precise, and in those cases, B plus VN is going to be the right translation for the pronoun on. And then since we're using the passive voice, we need to start with the object of the active voice as our subject for the passive voice. Okay, so she here, and then the passive voice be plus vn is said, is known, is guessed, is supposed, is rumored, is expected to be rich. Yes, to be rich. So that's the last part. We need to remember to use to plus v0 for the end of this sentence. Okay, how about if instead of elle here, let's say I want to translate on s'attend à ce que nous soyons riches. So in that case, there's still on here, so I'm still going to use be plus ven to translate the sentence. And the subject of the passive voice translation will be nous. Therefore, the translation of on s'attend à ce que nous soyons riches would be we are expected to be rich. Okay? And obviously, we here is what corresponds to nous and not to on, which is translated by be plus ven. Okay, let's go on to the next one. On dit, on sait, on devine, on suppose qu'elle a été riche. So the beginning is the same as the previous sentence, so the translation is going to be the same as well. She is said, she's known, she's guessed, she's supposed. And then instead of qu'elle est riche, we have qu'elle a été riche. So what's the difference between the two? Well, obviously, the difference is an idea of anteriority, an idea of interconnection between 2 points, one of these 2 points being anterior to the other one, being more in the past. And this idea of interconnection, as you know, is expressed by the operator half plus vn. Yes, very good. So instead of to be rich, we're going to have to add half plus vn to this last part, which will then be she's said to have been rich. Okay? Another sentence slightly different. Instead of on dit que, we have on disait que. So instead of she is said, we're going to have she was said. She was known, she was guessed, she was supposed, and so on. Qu'elle avait été riche. And in that case, because we have the imperfect here, we need to adjust this tense here and use the pluperfect in French. But in English, we already have the interconnection idea expressed by half plus ven, sorry. And therefore, there's not much else we can add. So we actually do not need to add anything else. And the end of the sentence will be, she was said to have been rich. And these really important points, grammar points, you will find in La Grammaire expliquée de l'anglais, pages 182, 183. Okay, so do these translations again to make sure that you really understand them and that you're able to do them again. And next time in the next video, we'll go over more specific characteristics of the English passive. So that's it for this video. Thank you for your attention. Keep on working. It's really key for you to improve your English. I'll see you in the next video. And in the meantime, guess what? I wish you all the best.